Buonasera, paisani. Welcome to episode 55 of Big Mamas Gather Searching for Help. I'm a little late tonight. I apologize. I'm trying to fix the camera here. Aspetta un minuto. This is live TV, guys. All right. So, last week, we had a bit of technical difficulties to bring on Mr. Louis Romano, author of a variety of books, mostly based on Italian history, Italian mafia, Italian gangsters. So this week we finally figured out the technical difficulties and I'm glad to have him on. Now, just a second. So he sent me this wonderful book called Carusi-the Shame of Sicily. Now this takes place in the 1800s, late 1800s, when there was famine and disease and poverty in Sicily. And it tells the story of this one child who is 4 going on 5, but has to take on the responsibilities of a family and the role of the head of the family. So he has to go to work. He has to sacrifice himself in order to feed his family. So I wanted to invite Louis on to talk about the book because I, highly recommend it. Being that I'm not a reader, I couldn't put it down, and I read it in 2 days. I mean, it's not a big book. It's got about 59 chapters, but it's very interesting, and you get really absorbed really quickly into the story because you feel for the characters, you feel for what they're going through, and you can just imagine the scenarios as he describes them. So it's just an amazing book. So let's see if he's here, and we'll invite him on so that he can speak about his book. So let's see if I find him. Louis, let me see. Louis Romano, here we go. So let's hope he gets the request and he can speak about it. And you guys can see him. This is his picture in the back. And there's a whole list of books that he's written. And he's in the process of writing another book. He's just so amazing in his writing. It's so clear. It's so descriptive. I mean, he describes the room. He describes the what they're wearing, how they're feeling. You're like really there. So it's just amazing how he writes. He's got a gift for writing. So let's invite Louis on. Let's see if he accepts. Louis, you got to accept my request. He's there. Louis, you joined the live, but now you have to accept the request, the invite. Why does it says he's unable to join? Oh dear Lord. Guys, I'm really sorry. I see all your hearts. Thank you. But Louis. Come on, Louis. There he is! Finally!
Hey,
We got it!
Finalmente.
So, Louis, thank you for coming on and taking the time to speak about your book. I really appreciate you sending me this book. And I'm not a reader. I hate reading books, but I couldn't put this one down. Honestly,
Thank you.
Fantastic work. I just love how you describe everything and how you put in the details so that we visualize exactly what we're reading. And the story that was told is just heartwarming. I mean, there was parts where I was laughing. There was parts where I was crying. I was literally tearing up. I don't want to give it away because I want people to read the book, but it's such a touching story. And I look forward to you writing more about it. But I want to go back to the beginning. How did you get inspired to write this kind of a book?
Well, I have been involved with children in some of my books for quite some time. I write a lot of mafia books and trash, things like that. Not trash, but mafia stuff and criminal stuff. So I came across this article about the Carusi in Sicily, and I decided, well, I have to go there. I have to go to Sicily and research this. And my family is from Carusi-the near in Palermo, outside of Palermo. And I spent a little over 2 weeks there researching this book and finding out all about what happened in those times. And I even interviewed 5 men who were Carusis, older men in their 90s, who happened to be in those sulfur mines when they were little boys. and the story is just disheartening. But I turn it into a little bit of a better story than just that. I just don't want to write negative things, so I
The
turned it into
pictures are
that. Yeah,
amazing. I
that's one
mean,
of the guys I interviewed.
you
Yeah,
included the pictures, and I just stared at it for quite a moment. You even took a picture of where is it? Hold on. Here, the mine itself. I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
set foot on the soil where they mined,
Oh,
which
yeah, I
is
was in the
crazy.
mines. Yeah.
It's crazy to be. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I don't know how it felt to be there.
Well, that one man, I asked him through he spoke Sicilian dialect, and I asked him through his grandson to translate for me. I said, what was the worst day? What was the worst thing you ever saw in the mines in 35 years underground? And he said, tutte giorni. And I said, I know what that means every day, but maybe you misunderstood what was the worst thing you ever said? And he said, no, I understand. Every day was terrible. And can you
Wow.
imagine 35 years underground, pulling this sulfur out? And the little boys who were 5 years old, because the families were very, very poor, as you know, in Sicily and Western Sicily at that time. And the kids just couldn't eat. So the families would sell the children to the miners, uh, basically sell them as slaves, and they couldn't get out of the mines until they were in their teens. And they developed all kinds of sicknesses and horrible, horrible things, and horrible things happened to them in the mines. Some of the miners were not so kind to them. So the story it wreaks havoc with the children of our people in
Yeah.
Sicily. Yeah,
And you also mentioned about the revolution to get them unionized because they wanted more pay and better benefits and
yeah,
respect. And
yeah.
that didn't go so well.
No, in my town in 1893 on Christmas Day. Now, I've been to the square a few times, but in the square, the piazza,
Yes.
the government called out troopers to stop the demonstration. The Fasci Siciliani, they were called, the fascists.
Yes.
And they shot and killed 11 people and wounded many more on Christmas Day in the town of La Carafrida. It also happened in Maranello, the same thing, where they just shot them people for demonstrating.
But
Can you imagine?
I beg to differ because you said they killed 11 people. I think there would have been maybe more casualties accounted for. But back then, if it was a violent death, they wouldn't be honored with a funeral.
Correct. That's absolutely
So,
right. You're
so
very learned
I
on it.
believe there was more deaths than
Yeah,
11, but they weren't accounted for just so they could be honored with a funeral. Because that was the
you're
mentality back then.
you're very right, Leah. The mentality was if you died from violence, you couldn't get a funeral mass.
That's
So it
right.
could have been. I heard as many as 17 were dead. It could have been more, but 11 were officially dead, and they could not have funerals from the church.
Yeah, just like the miner that bought the boys in the story, he
Yeah.
died, but he wasn't considered
No,
one of the people who were murdered because they wanted to give him a proper funeral.
that's
So
correct.
him and many others probably were not accounted for in order for them to get an honorable funeral, which is very sad because I mean a death is a death and you still have to honor the person. But back then the mentality was so diverse, it was so
Can
different.
you can you imagine? It's unimaginable. And speaking to the people there, they're almost embarrassed by the whole thing. The
Yes.
people in my town, and I went to a Favara near Agrigento, and the feeling is very, very negative. They don't want to talk about too much about it because
I guess it hurts them too much and it shames them because of
yeah,
what they had to do to survive.
yeah, exactly,
And I
exactly.
mean, the Sicilians were very proud people. We don't want to admit that, we were at the bottom of bottom of the
I know,
well.
I know, and that's why they fled at the end of and some time after that, in the United States, sulfur was discovered in Louisiana and in Texas, which decimated the Sicilian economy because there was no more need to get the sulfur from Sicily. They could get it in the United States for a lot cheaper, and it destroyed the economy. And that's when you saw a tremendous influx of Sicilian immigrants to this country, Canada,
Yes,
Australia, anywhere they could go. Yeah.
yes, yes. Well, what a fantastic book. Again, an applause for your
Thank you
work.
so
And,
much.
and it's just amazing. I look forward to reading more of your books. I just have to choose which one and then go down the line. This piqued my interest in just the way you write. Your manner of writing, it's page after page, and you don't really realize that you're at the end of the book till you're done, because I just
Thank
get
you.
so absorbed in it. So keep doing the great work. It's
Thank you.
amazing. I will give everyone the details where they can get it,
Thank you,
so
Leah. Thanks very
they
much.
can read what we're talking about, and they can relate. Because right now people are like, "What is it about? What is it about?" But like, I don't want to give it all away. I want them to read it. It
Thank
is
you.
a fantastic, fantastic book. Thank you for this tribute to the Sicilians.
I'm honored. I'm honored by you.
God bless you. Keep
God
up the
bless
good
you too.
work, and
Thank you.
we'll see you soon. I'll be
Okay.
reading. I'll be reading your material soon.
All right, my dear. Thanks so much.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, 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 Bella.
Wow. So yeah, this book, I'm telling you, I have no words to describe how touched I was. I didn't even know about this. And yes, it's about the sulfur mines back in the late 1800s in Sicily, where there was famine, there was disease, and children were sold in order to make the family survive and eat, to the miners. They had to, by hand, pick up the sulfur, put in a basket, and bring it outside. It was a long, hard day of work every day. And like Lewis said, they would start at 5 years old, and they wouldn't get out of there till they were 15, 16, or even older. He interviewed a gentleman in his 90s who worked in the mine for 35 years. And I mean, Sicily is a hot place to be. Can you imagine being 30, 40 feet underground in the heat? Because, the deeper you go into the ground, the hotter it is. He describes it so well. I mean, they had to undress in order to go deeper into the mine to get the sulfur. And they would work nude, in the nude. And it would smell of feces, of urine, because, they would do what they had to do in the mine. And they would sweat, and they would smell of sulfur. And then some of the miners weren't so nice to the children, and many of them got sexually abused and raped. I mean, what an ordeal! What an ordeal! And can you imagine the mothers, the families that had no choice but to sell their sons in order for them to feed the rest of the children, the rest of the family? It's just unimaginable what they had to go through. And to think that today, the lucky ones immigrated to the US or to Canada for a better life and got that better life. Uh, you have to be proud. You have to be proud to be Sicilian. You have to be proud to be Italian. And this underlines it. The story of this one boy underlines how proud and grateful we should be to our ancestors, our grandparents, our parents, for having made the decision to move, to immigrate for a better life, not only for themselves, but for their children and the following generations. So what an amazing, amazing book. So if you guys want to get your hands on this book, it's Louis Romano. It's called Carusi, The Shame of Sicily, because yes, they are ashamed of what happened to them, but it's still part of history. Louis is in the US. I'm just going to show you his card so that you guys can take all the information, and you can email him, you can text him, you can call him. And like he mentioned, he writes a lot of books about mafia and organized crime, and I believe he even did one on John Gotti, who has since passed on. He had an interview with John Gotti's son, who openly spoke about his father's life, and whatever went on in there. But I mean, Lewis has a way of writing. It's very absorbing to the reader. To see how he writes. He just keeps you on a hook. He makes you want to read page after page. He doesn't want you to interrupt what he's writing because of the way he writes it. And what I like about this book is he adds in a few Sicilian words that you can understand. And it just brings you even closer to the character and the story. So, Louis, bravo. Tanti auguri, bravo, bravo. He's truly a gifted writer, and I highly recommend him. Go check out his page, contact him, look at all his books that he's got written. Here, I'm just gonna put this a bit closer so you guys can read it. These are his latest books. So I don't know how long I'm gonna keep this here, but here you go. Those are his books. But you can contact him on Facebook or Instagram. I'm sure he'll be delighted to answer you and provide you with your own copy. And I had the honor of him signing the book for me, which is amazing. So I will treasure this book and possibly read it again another couple of times, just because it's that good. And again, I am not a reader. So for a non-reader to appreciate literature, it's a good book. On a different note, I want to welcome and invite everyone for our big event tomorrow night here at Cremerie Memorable and Town. We're doing a car show. So whether you have a modified car, a lemon of a car, a nice car, it doesn't matter. Come to Town, come look at the cars, come have a hot dog, come have a gelato or an ice cream at the Cremerie Memorable. We're having the event here tomorrow night. I think it's at 7 o'clock, and they'll be voting. So you can vote for your favorite car, your best looking car, your worst looking car, whatever you want to vote. And at the end of the night, we will be announcing the winners and also awarding the winners with prizes. So I invite everyone in the Montreal area who can come and enjoy a nice evening and look at some cars. Also, we're always open 3 to midnight every day of the week to serve you. We have a nice terrace. We have tables for you to enjoy your gelato. So everyone is always welcomed at Cremerie Memorable. We are here to make your summer memorable. So it's so far so good. The weather hasn't permitted us to do much because of, sometimes it's cold and sometimes it rains. But that's the business. It's weather related. But we're still here. We'll always be here to serve you and make you enjoy a wonderful ice cream or gelato. We do blizzards, we do milkshakes, we do sundaes, we do banana splits. We have a nice variety of choices for you to choose from. And we always make our customers feel welcomed. That's it, guys. I want to thank you all for being part of my live audience. You guys motivate me. You guys keep me going. And this is why I do what I do, even though there's times that I say maybe I'll stop, but I can't because of, I see all the hearts, I see all the comments. It's wonderful. So I just want to say how much I appreciate you all for coming on, week after week to my live and, encouraging me to keep going. I have Nikki, Signora, add me. Okay, Nikki wants to say something, so we'll add Nikki on, Nicole. Let's see what Nikki has to say. I was just about to wrap it up. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
You look so bravissimo.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
So I wanted to share something with your viewers. You had mentioned John Gotti.
Yes.
John Gotti is buried in my parents' old neighborhood in Middle Village, New York, at St. John's Cemetery.
Okay.
With his son Frank, that was killed in 1980.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, because I saw the movie that his daughter Victoria had. They made a movie about his daughter.
Yeah.
And that's how I watched it. And yeah, he lost a son very early because of a drunk neighbor that ran him over, and he passed away from cancer in jail. So yeah, John Gotti is a well-known person.
I can send you the grave information. I have it on my phone. I'll message you and I'll send you some of my pictures.
Sure, I'll be delighted to see it. If ever I come down there, I'll go visit his grave.
And I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on here in the tri-state area. So I don't know if you guys have the Delta variant in Canada yet.
Yes.
Okay, United States has the Delta variant too, but in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, it's not as bad as some of the southern states. What New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut have done is we are mandated mandatory vaccinations to enter any type of venue, whether it be concerts, sporting events, Broadway, and restaurants, kind of as an incentive to get these people vaccinated to get them moving.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it works. I mean, more and more people are getting vaccinated here in Montreal. There's centers almost at every corner, and there are lineups. There are a lot of people going, so it's catching on. It's a slow process, but I think it's catching on. So let's hope that with all that's going on, we can put an end to it sooner rather than later. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nicole. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
And now we have, I think we had Melissa from Australia that wanted to say something. So we'll have her on and then we'll wrap it up because it's almost 8:30. Johnny, hi Johnny. Johnny Faruja, hi Johnny. Hello Melissa, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good. How are things down there?
Well, in Adelaide where I live, we have come out of lockdown about a week and a half ago.
Thank God.
So that's good. We've got we have to wear a mask when we go out, but if you're sitting in a restaurant, you can take it off while you're eating and drinking.
Yeah, like
New South Wales, or if you know what, Sydney, they are in traumatic lockdown. They have recorded cases, over 230 cases per day in the last month. Their numbers are going up and up, partially because, as we see it as Australians, they're not listening to the rules and guidelines of lockdown. It means you stay inside and only go out if you are needing to get like groceries, doctor's appointments,
essential,
or if you're a frontline worker.
Yeah.
But they are encouraging us to get the vaccination.
Yeah,
They want more than 70% of Australians to be vaccinated to go back to some normality.
Yeah, it's becoming the norm in order to go back to the normal that we remember. So whoever's listening, whoever sees this video, please get vaccinated. I know we're trying to avoid it. I know we think so many things because of the media, because we talk to people, but it's going to become reality that we're all going to have to be vaccinated for one reason or another. So just do it now and let's get it over with. Let's end it. Thank you so much.
I mean, if you want to travel like from Australia to overseas, you have to have both injections before you can even think about getting on a plane to go overseas or even return home from overseas. I mean, I know we still got people stuck in America and Canada, but they don't even know when they're coming back. And this has been going on for like 18, 19 months.
Wow.
So we're already past the year mark.
Well, I'm sending prayers and good vibes, and let's hope people wake up and do the right thing so that, you know, you guys can ease off the restrictions and the numbers go down. I wish you strength and just hang in there, be safe, be well. Thank you so much for coming on.
That's okay. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
All right, so we have an update from US, we have an update from Australia. Here in Canada, restrictions are getting more and more relieved. Yes, we still have to, you know, wear masks, but I guess given it's summer, there's less, I don't know, there's less flu or less prone to getting sick because of the sun. I don't know. Honestly, I can't explain it anymore. But guys, we tried to deviate from it, and me being one of them. I really don't want to get vaccinated, but I think we're all heading down that path. So let's do what we got to do to go back to normal and be safe and protect each other and protect ourselves. On that note, guys, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being part of my audience. I appreciate you interacting with me. I really enjoy your comments, your flattering compliments. Thank you so much. I do this for you. I do this to be one of your outlets to detach from, you know, your day-to-day routine. And Flockliff says, don't give in, stay strong. Buonanotte. Ciao, Johnny Farrugia. So, guys, please join me again next week for another Big Mamas Gather live on Instagram, searching for hope. Another reminder is follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, subscribe. No, not follow. Follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And most of all, keep a positive mindset. Look at the glass, not half empty, but half full and refillable. If you don't stay positive, positivity will never come to you. Another book I want to talk about some other time is The Secret. It's how to manifest what you want. It's how to manifest, positive thinking. It's how to change your ways of dealing with life in order to have a better life, a happier life. So, guys, stay well. I love you all. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all your support. E come sempre, ci vediamo presto. Salutamu, everybody. Un bacione.